Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to go over my Palpatine Al Capone shock build. What inspired this was I was rewatching the Star Wars movies and I was thinking about Palpatine and I was like, I want to do a build that encompasses Palpatine and just shock everywhere. So I came up with this particular build. Now this build runs Hugs. It runs Hunter, Gunslinger, because let's be real. Palpatine, if he was a Remnant 2 character, he would 100% be running Hunter Gunslinger for the DPS boost. So we're running this, we're running the Chicago typewriter, we're running Enigma, and a few other pieces that make us feel basically like Palpatine and Al Capone had a baby. That is gonna be this character, just lightning galore. That's all we're doing, is just zapping everybody to death. So let's go over the build now. Let's see exactly what we need to make this build work. It is Apocalypse certified. All of this footage from today and that I've been playing in the last week has been from Apocalypse difficulty, and it's been doing a pretty good job there. So if you want to use this build in any other difficulty below Apocalypse, it is absolutely going to shred. So we're going to be running the Hunter archetype as the primary archetype because we want to have its prime perk active. That prime perk says dealing 55 base ranged weak spot damage, extends the duration of active Hunter skills by 3.5 seconds, can extend timer beyond its initial duration. So obviously this is going to be synergizing very well with the Hunter's mark, right? So when we cast that Hunter's mark, we're getting an extra 15% ranged and melee damage. It's supposed to last 25 seconds. However, you can extend that time by doing weak spot damage, and we're going to be doing some weak spot damage just by the nature of how many bullets we're spending with this particular build. For the Gunslinger archetype, we're going to be running Bulletstorm because we want that 20% increased fire rate as well as 50% increased reload speed for all weapons. It's going to last 20 seconds. So this combined with the Hunter's Mark is going to help us deal as much damage as we possibly can. Let's talk about that handgun. We're going to go with Enigma. This thing is a fan favorite and for good reason. So what does the mod do for Enigma? It's Chaos Drive. It drives electrified rods which tether to other rods within 10 meters. Tethers last 10 seconds and deals shock damage per second. Targets take shock damage per second and 25% damage per extra rod. Having 6 rods and 6 different enemies is going to deal significantly more damage because of the damage boosts per rod. And in the mutator slot, we want to be running Refunder. So shots from this weapon have a 30% chance to return spent ammo to reserves. Ideally, you want to get Refunder to level 10 so that you can get that 50% chance increased. For the melee weapon, we're running the Krell Axe. So this also does shock damage. Surprise, surprise. When you charge and you throw it, it applies overloaded on hit, dealing shock damage every 5 seconds for 20 seconds. When I see a special enemy, this is how I start the fight. I charge the melee, I throw it, I get overloaded on there, then I switch to one of the other guns and start pounding away at that enemy's health. Now for the pièce de résistance, the long gun, we've got the Chicago typewriter. This is a fan favorite from Remnant, from the Ashes, the first game. It is a Tommy gun, which is why you kind of feel like Al Capone mixed with Palpatine. What we're putting on here is the mod Overflow. Imbues ammunition with shock damage, increases fire rate by 15%, reload speed by 15%, and shots also apply overloaded. This thing is the ding 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 ding, the best possible mod for this gun in my opinion. We're running Bandit at level 10 as well, so on hit grants a 30% chance to return spent ammo directly into the magazine. For the shards on the relic, we're running elemental damage, range damage, and fire rate. Now let's talk about rings and amulets. So in our amulet slot, we've got the shock device. It increases shock damage by 20% and overloaded damage by 50%. This is crucial to this build, right? Almost every source of damage we're doing is shock and applies overloaded. The first ring we're going to have is the Timekeeper's Jewel. It increases the duration of all status effects applied by the wearer. Now, why do we want this? Because we want to extend how long overloaded stays on every enemy, because the longer it stays on there, the more damage it's going to do to that enemy. Next, we've got Grounding Stone. Increases shock damage by 10% and shock resistance by 15%. Next, we're going to have Shard Banded Ring. It increases mod damage by 12%. Reason being, we're using our mods on both Enigma and on the Chicago typewriter pretty much non-stop. So we want just a flat damage boost of 12%. Now the last ring is kind of an optional swappable spot depending on what armor you want to use, because I'm going to show you two different builds here that deviate just with the armors that they're using. So in the more squishy build here that we're seeing first, the armor we're wearing only has a weight of 50. In this particular build, what I want to do is optimize that DPS as much as possible. So I'm slotting in Stone of Malevolence. Elemental damage generates 15% additional mod. Now in the second build, we're going to be running Lito's set, the second one, fully. Gonna get us all the way up to a weight of 90. So we're super heavy, and because of that we don't want to be diving all over the place. So we're gonna swap in this last spot of the ring for Ring of Omens. Evades cost 19.42% max health as gray health instead of stamina. This allows you to roll instead of belly flop every time you want to evade, but it's going to cost about 20% of your max health. However, the build itself is built so that it does regenerate a ton of health all the time, so we're not really worried about that. So there are the two options. Now let's talk about the traits for the build. Obviously we're going to have ammo reserves and long shot at level 10 because these come from our archetypes. We want to have a little bit of extra health. We're going to put a couple points into stamina, obviously, because we're going to be evading decently often, right? If we're so squishy, we need to be able to evade most of the moves coming our way. Spirit is going to be level 10. This is crucial for us, plus 20% mod power generation. Expertise, again, we need this at level 10 because it gives us a minus 20% skill cooldown, so that way we can keep up our hunter's mark as much as possible. I'm running Scholar at level 10 for that extra 15% experience bonus just because I'm still leveling other archetypes. This is an extra 10 points that you can distribute wherever else you want. You want to max out vigor and endurance, take these 10 points, put them there instead. Recovery, I put level 6 so that I can get an extra 18 stamina regeneration per second. Handling, I wanted this at level 10 because we're outputting so many bullets and we're just shooting so consistently. We're having some weapon spread and recoil, and this really helps narrow it down a lot more. For me, this is a must-have at level 10 for the weapons that we're currently using. Bloodstream, I put at level 5 so that we can get 1.5 health per second when we have that gray health, because if we're running the Lido set and we're evading, we're going to be having gray health all the time. So this helps with that regeneration. And then finally we have Siphoner, which grants 3% base damage as lifesteal. This is another mandatory thing for the build. So there's the build, guys. You have two options in terms of armor sets you want to use. If you want to use a lighter armor set that allows you to be a little bit more squishy, you can output a little bit more DPS by slotting in that fourth ring. But if you want to feel a little bit more comfortable, you're going to use Lito's set, and we're going to swap out that fourth ring so that way you're not belly flopping on evade, you are rolling nicely. And we're regenerating a lot of that health back through the gray health regeneration. Our weapons, Chicago typewriter, the Krell axe, and the Enigma allow us to basically be Palpatine 24/7 while also kind of feeling like Al Capone. This build is so incredibly fun, and it is an absolute spectacle on your screen to just see lightning go all over the place. So guys, this is where we're going to end the video. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like the video, subscribe to my channel. The support really is appreciated, and I will catch you guys next time. Okay, see ya.